Today we read from the second book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 13 to the end. I hope you enjoyed reading today's passage, which is one of the many vivid and engaging stories in the history books of the Old Testament. We can so easily imagine the scene and enter into the feelings of those present, because the narrator is so skillful. Jerusalem, surrounded, besieged by the powerful Assyrians. The propaganda of the Rabshakeh, the chief minister of King Sennacherib, cunningly undermining the morale of the people. The consternation of King Hezekiah and the people as they listened, knowing all too well the truth of the defeat of other cities, including Samaria, their own close relation. I'd encourage you to read on to the end of the chapter, to the conclusion of the story. It tells how the prophet Isaiah encouraged Hezekiah not to be afraid, how Hezekiah received a threatening letter from his enemies, and how he went to the temple and spread it before the Lord. I love that phrase, he spread it before the Lord. It's so expressive of his relationship of trust with God and of his prayer life. And Hezekiah tells the Lord all about his problems, his worries and fears, the threats of the enemy and their victories elsewhere. All this he sets out before God and asks for help and for salvation. Isaiah comes with a prophetic word of encouragement, tells him that God is far more powerful than earthly kings. And God says through Isaiah, I have heard your prayer, and promises that Sennacherib would not shoot one arrow within the city of Jerusalem. The story concludes with a shock ending. One night the Assyrian army is decimated by plague, and so Sennacherib returns home, where he is assassinated by some of his sons. Hezekiah gives us a model of prayer, which is worth following. He brought to God all the issues he was faced with. He didn't mince his words. He was honest. He asked for what he needed. And this was not an isolated prayer. He wasn't turning to God in desperation as a last resort. We read earlier in the chapter that Hezekiah was a pious man. It says, he trusted in the Lord God of Israel, so that there was no one like him among all the kings of Judah after him, or among those who were before him. He held fast to the Lord. The Lord was with him. Hezekiah was therefore no stranger to prayer, and his response when things got too much was to take them to the Lord in prayer. That reminds me of that song, which is rather corny, but it is good advice. Is there trouble anywhere? Take it to the Lord in prayer. Hezekiah's prayer was answered with a yes. We should remember, though, that the city was later defeated and destroyed, and the people taken into exile amid great suffering. Sometimes the answer to prayer will be no, or possibly not yet, or even that infuriating parental gambit, we'll see. But like the best friends who know how to listen to our troubles without having to be able to solve them, the point of prayer is not just to get what we want. It's to develop our relationship of trust with God by sharing our deepest feelings and hopes and thoughts and fears and longings. Take a moment each day to do as Hezekiah did, to spread it before the Lord.